What is going on, guys? Brandon here. Janet Yellen spoke and said that not raising the debt ceiling would be catastrophic. It is non-negotiable. We absolutely have to raise the debt ceiling. And as much of a clown as Janet Yellen is, and the the partnership we have with her being in the Fed and then now in government, just hilarious. That in and of itself, I don't know how it's legal, to be quite honest with you. But we're not here to argue balls and strikes and things like that. That's just. I mean, just morally, ethically, that should be just not even doable. But, it might be legally, who cares? It might be legal. However, I do agree with her that it is not possible to stop the debt ceiling. The Republicans, I used to agree with Republicans, 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, in saying that you can't raise the debt ceiling. We got to cut spending. Like, we got to actually rein this in and budget and be actually monetarily sound, fiscally responsible human beings. We actually have to be accountable and responsible for our debts and obligations. And we got to actually pay off our student debt and actually got to do things, right? No, absolutely not. We're in a debt-based system. The thing I have learned over the last 12 years since the Great Financial Crisis, reading The Creature from Jekyll Island, reading when nations or currency destroys nations, all currency wars, Jim Rickards books, all of Jim Rickards books, reading about gold, and then coming into the Bitcoin space over the last 4 or 5 years and just completely changing and seeing how everything about the world, Mike Maloney, Max Kaiser, everybody, and seeing the scales fall from my own eyes and understand, oh my goodness, as Mike Maloney says, this is a debt-based system. And Max Kaiser says you can't taper a Ponzi scheme, right? So we are in a Ponzi scheme. The dollar is backed by nothing. Every single dollar in existence is owed back to the central bank with interest. So what happens when you pay back all the principal and there's still interest outstanding? Well, the system implodes on itself, meaning you can't bring the debt ceiling down, meaning you can never pay it all back off. The Ponzi scheme has to keep being printed further and further and further, meaning the dollar you hold, the paycheck you get each week buys you less and less and less and less and less and less and less over time, over the coming weeks, over the coming months, over the coming years. So why in God's green earth would you hold an asset long-term and save in something, a 401k, a pension, 403b, any of these cockamamie plans that from Wall Street to try to get your assets under management and just strip fees from you? Why would you hold in anything that literally it's literally mathematically not going to be there when you retire in 20 years, 30 years, 50 years. We know Medicare, Medicaid, all these are going to be bankrupt. Social Security, they're going to be bankrupt. How you took people's cash through Social Security and it's not there anymore? How is that even possible? Well, I'll tell you how, because they went and spent it all. Because it's a Ponzi scheme. They can just print more, meaning you are going to pay more through inflation. You'll pay it all off in their egregious actions through inflation. So paying, 10 times a carton of eggs and 100 times then a carton of eggs 5 years from now, or a year from now, or 10 years from now. People are arguing with me the other day oh, what do you mean? The dollar can't lose 99% of its value in the next 10 years? It's lost 99% already in the last 110. It absolutely can. We just printed, 40% of our dollars from 2020 to 2021, end of 2021, in a year and a half. We printed 40% of all currency in existence. So there's 40% right there. You don't think we can get the other 59% out of here real quick? Because we can, and we will. Just buckle up. And this is why you have to understand what's coming at you. You have to question everything with boldness. Don't trust me. Just go verify. Go watch some of this. Go to the things that we're pointing you to, or go do your own research and find the mentors and the people that are going to lead you to where you need to be to understand what is happening to the dollar being completely destroyed, an infinite liability. So you're holding a liability on your balance sheet. The dollar is not an asset; it's a liability. So you're losing wealth. You're able to purchase less and less and less and less goods and services. Instead of holding a finite asset, your time is finite. Why would you not trade with a finite asset? Bitcoin is the only one I know of. Gold and silver is pretty finite, still has a little bit of inflation rate. So it did good for thousands of years, but making a perfect trade of finite for finite, then we know as Bitcoin is lost over the years, or the issuancy rate is going down and eventually to zero, we know that gets harder and harder and harder, and it gets more rare over time, meaning it accrues more purchasing power. And now you can buy, instead of a plastic playhouse from Play School, now you can buy a real house with 1 Bitcoin. And then eventually 1 Bitcoin will buy you a whole neighborhood of houses. And then 1 Bitcoin will buy you a whole commercial city block of real estate. This is how this goes. This is in inflationary world, fiat Ponzi world we live in, or the deflationary world of Bitcoin. It's just simply how it goes. And so many people get caught from the forest and the trees, not being able to see things. And Janet, at the end of the day, is right. Coming full circle, Janet is right. We cannot do anything about the debt ceiling. You have to escape it from a different system, as Jeff Booth says. You cannot fix our reality from the current system. You have to escape. And my favorite meme, I'll leave you with my favorite meme, which is the Titanic. The people on the stern of the Titanic, it's behind is going up in the air, and the people are sitting there like, oh, what do you mean? The Bitcoin's way too volatile. The dollar's way up in strength. Like, you guys are crazy. And they're yelling at the people down in the lifeboats. And the people on the lifeboats have the Bitcoin on the side of the life raft, and they're just looking back at the Titanic as it's slipping under the wave. Yet the people that think they're doing well in the fiat currency and the dollar that's going up in value compared to a bunch of other worthless currencies, they look like they're going up when you're on the ship. Don't realize you're going under the waves, but the people that are on the Bitcoin life raft in the other system are looking backwards at your ship saying, no, it's just slowly going under the waves, guys. We know it's going down, and we know how this ends. So please come into the Bitcoin life raft, into a sound money system. So at the end of the day, Janet, she doesn't get much right. However, she has this right. And, the Republicans at the end of the day, there's only so much they can do. I mean, their platform used to be fiscal responsibility. I mean, that went out the window a long time ago. I mean, Rand Paul is probably the only person that's even remotely close at all, and it has a sound money background. Obviously, Ron Paul, his father, was incredible in that regard, which is a great YouTube channel, actually, the Ron Paul Liberty Report. Unbelievable. Probably the only person that knows as much about monetary history, war, the military-industrial complex, politics, everything, because he's been in all of it. Truly one of the greatest minds of all time. I'm so grateful that he puts out YouTube content that will be around for us to watch even after he's gone. So incredible stuff. But I appreciate your time and energy. Please share this video. Please share this, because this is something that Republicans don't get. This is something that conservatives don't get, fiscal conservatives. Your grandeur, your illusions of grandeur are misplaced in this fiat Ponzi we live in. You cannot cut the debt ceiling and cut spending. It's impossible. You really can't do it. You're just delaying the inevitable, I guess, really, at the end of the day. I mean, you might be able to slow things down just a little bit, but it's a system that's broken, going under the waves. You can't get the Titanic back up out of the water. It's impossible. So you have to go to a new system. Please share this far and wide for people who might need to understand this or know this, or, like we always say here, you can't be a messiah in your own town, right? It's hard to be a messiah in your own town. Please share this with people who might not believe you, might not trust you, see it from a different source. And please help us spread the message, the sound money message, and the preparedness message of getting prepared. Gold, silver, Bitcoin, food, energy, water, firearms, security, ammo, and community, the number one thing. So I appreciate your time and energy. It's the most important asset we have. Bitcoin is time, and time is Bitcoin, the only two finite assets I know of. This is not financial advice, it's freedom advice. Please put your comments below, what you think is going on, what you see, what your thoughts are, and my thoughts, and we'll bat out in the comments, and I'll see you on the next one.